What's up, guys? Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And today's a arm workout with supersets. And again, we're starting out with the triceps because I want the triceps to grow bigger than the biceps, relatively, of course. So we are starting out with the rope push down and then immediately followed by the straight bar cable curl. This is a very good superset to start out with to really get the blood flowing in the muscles, and that's what you want, especially at the very start. The longer you can maintain a pump, the better it is for your growth of those muscles. So when it's not that hot outside anymore, when the weather is changing, I like to start wearing something over my tank tops like this shirt right here. And that is to really maintain body heat, and the more body heat you can maintain, the better the pump is right at the get-go of the workout. And that is what I'm striving for, because the longer you maintain a pump, the better it is, as I said before. And the pump is something you really want to achieve when doing supersets. That's actually what supersets are all about. When you do a rope push down, you pump up the triceps, and the minute that I'm doing these cable curls right here, it is stretching the pumped triceps and vice versa. So the biceps are pumping up right now, and right after this one, right here, I'm doing a tricep exercise, and this really emphasizes the stretch. But whenever I go up, it actually stretches the biceps. So there's a continuous synergy in between the triceps and biceps, which can only be truly achieved with a good pump. And the better the pump, the better the results. So now that we arrived at the second superset, some different exercises, but these two are pretty common in my superset workout. So first, an overhead tricep extension, which is very good to stretch out the triceps, but I would recommend you to do it at a second exercise or do a little more reps to increase the pump. But what you want to do is first do the tricep exercise, stretching out those triceps, and then do the machine curl. And I really like this machine curl because, again, the contraction and the stretch, the more you can achieve that, the better the blood flow into your muscles will be. So when I am doing supersets, I like to start with machines or exercises that have a range of motion that the tension throughout the range of motion is pretty much constant. That is also why I'm not going all the way up, because then the tension here on this exercise would be on the elbows, and I want the tension to be on the triceps. These are all little things that, if you don't think about them, could really change up the effect of your workout. And during this exercise, and I've said this quite a lot of times before, but you don't want to sit upright too much. When you sit upright, right at the top of the contraction of the range of motion, you will lose the tension because it's really no gravity, nothing pulling on your biceps anymore. So you want to bend over this little bench right here to increase the tension, especially at the top. Now, this is the second overhead tricep extension exercise that I'm doing, and I'm doing this because I want to work on the long head of the triceps. And most tricep extensions behind the head or over the head are targeting mostly the long head. And the long head of the triceps makes sure that the mass, if it grows, will be significantly larger compared to the biceps, and that's what I want. I really want that sweep when I'm doing the front double bicep, for example, or any other pose. I really want those triceps to stand out, and that is my goal for my arms. Some people really like to work biceps all the time to get big arms, but trust me, it is all about the triceps. You of course want a good peak on those biceps, but when you got decent genes for them, you really want to fill those arms up by working the triceps. So the second part of the superset after the overhead dumbbell extension is the alternating dumbbell curl. I like to combine single arm exercises with different single arm exercises. So the overhead extension was with one arm at the same time, and this is pretty much the same thing, one arm at the same time, but this time I'm alternating in between each arm. And right here, this is my very first set of doing a skull crusher. And I really like this exercise if you do it after a couple of exercises to really warm up the elbows first. But after you've done that, it really becomes a good exercise where you can really focus on the contraction and the stretch of those triceps. If you look at my tricep right there, what you see contracting is mostly the medial and the long head, and that is what I want to work on. The medial head will give you also that meaty thickness of the triceps, that 3D effect. And the skull crusher or the laying French press is an exceptional example of working that part of the triceps. And I'm combining this with a 2-arm hammer curl, and this is a different way of performing a hammer curl. Is this seated, but you really want to keep your arms straight. A lot of people like to cheat and move their arms a lot, but if you do this minimally, it will become a difficult exercise even with light weights. And also guys, when you know that you're pretty strong with an exercise, you don't really want to do it at the very start of a workout, especially when that exercise can give you some joint problems. If I would have done this exercise right at the beginning, I could go so heavy that it would hurt my joints, even though I wouldn't feel it at that moment. In a few years, if you keep repeating that, it will affect your joints. So I always recommend, if you're doing heavy exercises like this, to first warm up with 1 or 2 exercises, because this still goes pretty easy right now and it is pretty heavy for a lot of people. But if you really want to save your joints, you got to work out with a mind, not just your muscles. And the mind-muscle connection is also active during these 2-arm hammer curls. I usually do 1-arm hammer curls, but I really liked to try this one out to really burn both arms at the same time, really getting the pump in that brachialis of the biceps, making them look thicker from the front. And guess what? Another overhead exercise, but this time with a rope and a cable. This ensures tension not just at the bottom but also at the very top. And that is the benefit of this exercise, that you don't only work the long head, but you also work the small head of the tricep. But you really want to contract that small head by pushing your wrists outwards at the top if you look closely. That's what you really want to do to get the full benefit of an exercise like this. And now I'm going to do an interesting bicep curl. I call them the pull down curls. You basically bend backwards a little bit, lean backwards, and grab it about shoulder width. For some people it's different, you know, kind of what your preference is, kind of play around with it. But this really enhances the bicep peak, trust me. If you look closely, you can see that the bar goes behind my head, so this extends the range of motion to get a fuller bicep contraction than with any regular bicep curl. And the last superset of today starts with the tricep dips, and I really like these because these specifically target the medial head of the triceps, and the contraction is really unique. So guys, listen to me. If you do not feel a unique contraction in those triceps, you're doing something wrong. And I have to admit, this is a difficult exercise to master. A lot of people know it very well for the chest, but for the triceps it's a different story. So what you want to do is really stay upright as much as possible, go upwards with your arms until you feel those triceps stretch, and then push down without moving your upper body too much. And we combine that with a wide grip machine curl. The difference between a close grip and a wide grip is that you work a different part of your bicep. Remember, your biceps have 2 heads. A close grip works the outer head, but a wide grip works the inner head. This will enhance the thickness of your tricep, but if you really want to go for a peak, I would mostly do close grip exercises. But if you really want to work on bicep thickness and biceps in general, you really want to do some wide grip work every now and then. I rarely do it, but when I do it, it is a different sensation. And that is what the bodybuilding is all about. Hitting all of your muscles from different angles, feeling different, healthy sensations in your muscles to increase that anabolic response. And this is his 3rd superset actually, and you really want to go pretty heavy with those tricep dips to really blast those tricep muscle fibers, especially when going up to maximize the stretch and to maximize the tension on those triceps. You really want to go pretty heavy because you actually can, but don't go too heavy because otherwise your chest will do most of the work. So it really takes some practice, and I might actually do a tutorial video on that movement. And by the way guys, the Arm Day tank top that I'm wearing is by Vintage Genetics. So if you're interested, check out the website vintagegenetics.com. I really appreciate all your support. You guys are awesome. But the last exercise of the day is the side lateral machine raise. And I like to do this because I don't work my shoulders separately that much. Pretty much almost never. So I really would like to include this, for example, after chest or after arms, because I think arms is a pretty small muscle group. I really want to extend this workout by adding something I don't usually train, the side delts. But as I always say, volume is king for the side delts. If you go too heavy, your traps will do most of the work, so make sure to really feel those side delts and hit them with a lot of reps to fill them up with blood. Anyway guys, I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate you watching the video, and I appreciate all you guys' support. This was a low carb day workout, but I got through it anyway. You guys can do the same thing. Never give up, and you never know what you can accomplish. Your potential is unlimited. Anyway guys, this was the video, and don't forget to stay golden. In it that I'm doing these cable curls right here, it is stretching the pumped triceps and vice versa. So the biceps are pumping up right now, and right after this one right here I'm doing a tricep exercise, and this really emphasizes the stretch. But whenever I go up, it actually stretches the biceps. So there's a continuous synergy in between the train pump, the better it is for your growth of those muscles. So when it's not that hot outside anymore, when the weather is changing, I like to start wearing something over my tank tops like this shirt right here. And that is to really maintain body heat, and the more body heat you can maintain, what's up guys, welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And today's a arm workout with supersets, and again we're starting out with the triceps, because the better the pump is right at the get-go of the workout, and that is what I'm striving for, because the longer you maintain a pump, the better it is, as I said before. And the pump is something you really want to achieve when doing supersets. That's actually what supersets are all about. When you do a rope push down, you pump up the triceps, and I want the triceps to grow bigger than the biceps, relatively of course. So we are starting out with the rope push down, and then immediately followed by the straight bar cable curl. This is a very good superset to start out with, to really get the blood flowing in the muscles, and that's what you want, especially at the very start. The longer you can maintain